Yo, he's here. He's on the line right now, and I'm excited because he's the host of United Shades of America, and the new season is starting July 19th. Take a listen to this.
United Shades of America has always been a space for difficult conversations. This season, it's more important than ever.
The United States Department of Agriculture, the last plantation.
What does it mean that a zip code can tell you so much more about where a child is going to end up?
To me, reparations, I had to pay you for something. I never owned slaves. You didn't have to.
This system is not just not built for us.
It's built against us, and it's not broken.
Yo, man, this guy, man, this is a show that I've watched. I follow this guy around, even when he's totally biased, and even the podcast that he does, and I just love his perspective on things, and he's a visionary, and he thinks about things before the rest of the country does. And right now, this show couldn't be coming out at a better time. United Shades of America with the one and only Kamau Bell, man. He's on the show. Give him a round of applause, man. W. Kamau Bell.
Hey, Kamau.
What up, brother?
Hey, I'm just here to talk about fishing. That's all I care about.
Yo, what you doing? Yo, dude. Hey, did you grow up fishing? Like, you an angler?
No. I mean, I went fishing a couple times in life. When I was a kid, we used to go shrimping in Alabama. You just go out, but that's just you put out nets, you take a nap, you wake up, you got shrimp.
Sign me up for that.
Y'all was just taking naps, and you got shrimp. Damn. You grew up, that's right, you did grow up in Alabama. So did that excite you just to hear Greg Street? We got to bring you out. You got to be a guest on the show I'm developing.
I'm down. I'm like Heather B. I'll stand on the sidelines, but then I'm going to watch somebody cook. That's what I'll be doing.
Oh, come on, man.
I'll eat. You cook, I eat. That'll be the end of it.
Really Everyone got a roll.
He ain't doing shit. He ain't fishing. He ain't cooking. He just eating.
I'm talking. I'll be talking a lot. I'll be keeping the ball up in the air.
Providing commentary.
Oh man.
Yeah, exactly.
Your show has been so on the post of what goes on in today's society, and right now with race being at the top of everybody's mind, identity politics, and what we're seeing the uprising here in this country, and we're starting to see some people who are really extremely out of their mind when it comes to this fear and this hate quotient that we're seeing, especially folks who just hate the idea of black people saying, hey, our lives matter. What are your thoughts on
you're not even supposed to say that just to quote it. You ain't supposed to say that.
Yeah, right? Like they can't even quote it. You know what I mean? Like, what is your take on what do you see? Like, this is something you actually dove into like early. This shit has been around forever, but it was important to you, especially through this show. I've seen you hang out with KKK members. You know what I mean? Like, you want to analyze, dissect this mind state. You even talked about it on our show. Are you surprised about what you're seeing, or what's your take on things?
No, I mean, one of the great things about the show is that the episode coming out this week is all about white supremacy, and we sort of talk about the history of this country and how I think a lot of times people want to talk about racism, but I think you have to talk about the system on which this country was built. You know, when Europeans landed, the first thing they did was like, okay, let's kill all the people who are here. And then they saw all this land that needed to be worked on, and they brought us in to work the land. So the country is literally built on a crime and built on racism and built on the idea that white people, white Christian men, first of all, should be at the top of the totem pole. And I think a lot of times in this country, when we talk about racism, we talk about like hurting people's feelings or crimes, but really the worst racism, the worst of white supremacy is the fact that it is almost impossible to succeed in this country if you're not a white man. And if you are a black person who succeeds or a person of color who succeeds, you have to go through so much more than a white person has to go through to get any sort of real success. And so in the show we talk about, a lot of times we want to talk about white supremacists, and we want to think that all of white supremacy is neo-Nazis and the KKK. But that's just the mascots. White supremacy is the fact that 44 out of 45 presidents have been white. So what does that tell you about the system? So that's what we're trying to do in the show, is talk about the system.
What kind of response were you getting from the white supremacists? What were their thoughts? They truly believe that white men are superior to others. That's just what's been embedded and passed down from generations to generations. There's no sympathy whatsoever coming from these folks.
No, and I mean, in this episode that's coming up, we actually sit down and talk with some ex-white supremacists, some people, some white dudes who were white supremacists and who have gotten out, and they talk about how the whole it's a cult. They talk about how they find white dudes who are aren't doing well in life and can't find anybody to date and having a bad way, and then they go, come here. That's all black people's fault, right? They are targeting white people who are not doing well and then convincing them that all their problems are the fault of black people or Jewish people. And so it's really, you have to look at it as a cult. Now, the fact is that's the white supremacist level. But that's, again, most black folks aren't going to run into the Ku Klux Klan. That's not something that most black folks deal with. But you do have to deal with the police, and the police, as we talk about in this country, have been built on white supremacy. The police are there to stop black folks from being criminals and to prevent us from doing crime. They're not there to help us live our lives and protect us. So I think, again, when we talk about this stuff, it's easy to get caught up in the narrative of like the neo-Nazis and the Klan, because those are like the mascots of white supremacy. But we have to talk about, that's why we're talking right now, like defund the police and mass incarceration and all these other things. We have to, basically, this is an opportunity. We got to redo the whole system and start over, or I'm moving my family to New Zealand. Those are my two choices.
New Zealand, okay, that's a great place. I was thinking maybe Greenland. I'm not moving. I'm gonna stay. We're gonna create our own society within a society. What did the ex-supremacists? What are their thoughts on the current administration and their practices? Did you ask them about that?
Yeah, I mean, they think that basically the Donald Trump administration and the GOP are using the same techniques where they're targeting people who are at their weakest, because, the base of the Trump party is white people who don't have good jobs, aren't happy about the neighborhoods they live in, and those things, and they target those people and convince them that that's because this country has been taken away from you. That's the whole Make America Great thing. That's all like cult thinking. It's all like, we're going to tell you we're going to convince you that what's wrong in your life is not your fault, and we're here to save you, even though, if you look at it right now, they have done nothing for those people except give them COVID.
Kamau, I need your POV on this, on what a lot of people would feel like is a form of the unraveling of white supremacy, which is all of these big brand names retiring their original names, such as Aunt Jemima, such as Heather B. bringing up in sports earlier, the Redskins. Do you feel like that is a form of progress?
I mean, it's one of those things that's like, it's great that it happens, but then the real progress would be like, okay, Redskins, now let's talk about profit sharing with the Native American communities in this country that you made fun of for all those years. That would be real progress. With Aunt Jemima, okay, it was based on a real woman named Nancy Green. Let's find her descendants and see how they're doing and give them some of those Aunt Jemima profits that you made all those years. To me, I think we can get caught up in the symbols, and it's great. I'm happy to, walk down the grocery store and not see an Aunt Jemima bottle. I'm really happy, even though I've had plenty of Aunt Jemima in my life. But what are we doing, again, to change the structures? You know what I'm saying? Like, it can't just be, it's like every year, like a commercial will say, and Kwanzaa, as a way to get black people to shop in their store. But what are you actually doing for black people? Are you hiring black people? Are you paying us well? Do you have benefits when we work at that corporation? I think it's like, I'm happy about the symbols. I'm happy to see all the slave owner statues come down. But what are you then doing to change the systems of this country? And we have an episode this season about reparations that talks about that.
Oh, dope.
You have an episode about reparations.
Oh, yeah.
We're not messing around. This may be my last season.
Yeah, it might be. So we got to go out with a bang, 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 man.
Because if you don't turn this around, Sway, I'm going to New Zealand. So, yeah, I'm going to put it on you, turn it all around so I can stay. But if not, I'm a Maori.
Oh, man. Wow. And then who did you talk to about reparations? Like, what was kind of the general consensus? What are your thoughts on reparations? Like, how does it happen?
I mean, I think all this stuff can happen. First of all, the United States has done reparations before, so it's not like it's something they haven't done before. They did it with the Japanese Americans who were interned. Each Japanese American, I think, who was interned got $20,000, which seems, even in like 1980s, I was like, $20,000, that doesn't seem like enough. But like the first reparations the United States ever gave was it was in D.C., and it was to slave owners who lost slaves. They gave them reparations because since you lost the slaves in the emancipated population, here are your reparations, which is crazy to me to think that that's the first reparation. So it is something that we have done before. So I think we can do it again. And I think the way we do it is by understanding, and that's what we're talking about right now, that if you invest in black communities, if you give black people cash payouts for all the work that our people have done over the course of this country, it will actually improve the entire country. It will give us some of that rights and civil liberties that we haven't had, and it'll give us the freedom to invest in ourselves. So I think it's something that could happen, and it's something that should happen because it will actually make this country great for the first time.
Man, Kamau Bell is on season 5 of United Shades of America. It's premiering Sunday, July 19, 10 p.m. on CNN. We got Keith from Maryland on the line. Keith, good morning. How you doing?
Good.
What up?
How we doing? Hey, I have a question. You said move to New Zealand. Why New Zealand?
I said too much. I shouldn't have given away my plan. First of all, I feel bad about that. My wife's gonna be mad.
No, I said that because I lived in New Zealand, so I'm trying to understand what you mean by why New Zealand. Because New Zealand
I have not been there before, but the thing I like about New Zealand is that from what I know about it, is when they had that guy show up and shoot up that mosque, the leader of New Zealand, who's a woman, came out and said, all right, no more guns, let's stop that. Then with COVID-19, they shut the country down quickly, and now they have very little COVID there, and they're back to like sporting events with people in the stands in New Zealand. So for me, if you look around at the world, the countries that have done the best with COVID-19 are generally countries with women who are leaders. And also I know New Zealand I like the culture. I've looked into it and I could blend into some of that culture and take part of that, but I actually have not. I haven't been there. I'd have to go first.
Keith, why were you in New Zealand?
Well, let me say this. New Zealand has a lot of the same issues that we have in the States as far as race is concerned, because you have the Kiwis, or considered the white, then you have the Maoris and the Samoans, who consider the black people. So a lot of the Samoans and Maoris are living in certain parts of the area, and then the Kiwis are living in another part. So that that black and white thing, that's all over the world.
Yeah.
Let me be clear. I don't think there's anywhere I'm going in the world where I'm escaping racism. Until we get to Mars, and I don't know what's going on up there, I don't think there's any place a black man can go in the world and escape racism. The way I put it is that if you're black and have privilege, you get to pick the kind of racism you want to deal with on a daily basis. If you're black and you have money, you go, I like the racism in this community, so I'm going to move there. I don't think there's any escaping of racism.
Hey, Keith, you're a citizen, man.
Sway in the morning.
We got Erica on the line from Atlanta. You want to say something real quick, Erica?
Hey.
Yes. How you all doing?
Doing well.
Hey, good morning.
Good, thank you. I just had a different idea for reparations, and I wanted to get you all's opinion on it. Because we know that we'll never be able to really get enough money to probably be satisfied. And a lot of the money will probably be blown. So I had an idea of they're already giving tax breaks on the COVID stimulus checks. So why don't they just give all African Americans who can prove their descent from American slaves tax breaks for like the next 400 years?
What do you think of that, Kamau?
Family line.
For the next 400 years.
I'm going to quote Nicole Hannah-Jones, who wrote the 1619 piece in the New York Times about the history of slavery in this country. And this is what she says in the episode that we did about reparations. She thinks reparations without cash payments is, and she took a pause and went, straight up racist. So there's lots of things you can do. I think it's not, reparations isn't one thing. It's like a package of things. But I do support people who say it's also cash payments. I think people get caught up in, Nicole Hannah-Jones talks about this, that black people are going to waste the money. Hey, if I want to waste my reparations check, let me waste my reparations check. But also, if you look at how black people's lives work, we do save money. We do save money for things we need and save money for things we want. I think we save at a higher rate than white folks. So I think there's a narrative around black people and money that mostly comes from that Chappelle Show sketch, but it's not actually true. So I think that, like, certainly part of reparations is fixing all the schools in the black communities. Part of reparations is loans to give to black businesses. But I think we have to look at this like black businesses were denied like 90% of the loans in this small business thing that happened after COVID. So we can't count on those things all the time. That's why I think some of it should be cash payments.
Erica, thank you for your call. You a citizen?
Sway in the morning.
We got Kamau Bell from United Shades of America premiering Sunday, season 5 at 10 p.m. on CNN. Kirk in Arkansas, you got a quick question?
Yeah, I was calling to see, do you ever intend to take your show down in the Delta here in the area and do anything on the White Citizens Council?
Have we done anything on the White Citizens?
No, I'm talking about Kamau Bell.
Kamau. Okay, go ahead, Kamau.
We have. I mean, we've certainly been down in the South. Our first episode was actually in Arkansas, but not in the Delta. But so yes, we have. I have not. We haven't done anything on the White Citizens Council, but I know if this season goes well, we'll be back for another season, and we're always looking for ideas. But yes, we are always covering racism. That's basically our assignment from CNN. Is we're the show that talks about racism. So we'll get there.
Kirk is a historian who calls in the show often, and I appreciate all your knowledge, Kirk. You're a citizen. But, Kirk, you should follow him at W. Kamau Bell, K-A-M-A. Yeah, follow him and then hit him directly, man. He gets back eventually. Kamau, yo, love you, brother. Keep up the work. Thank you for being on the show this morning, man. I love what you do, and I want to encourage all the citizens to follow Kamau and also watch United Shades of America Sunday, 10 p.m. on CNN. Keep up the great work. You'll get another season. All right?
Absolutely.
Thanks everybody. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you.
Absolutely, man.
Let's go fishing.
Let's go fishing. All right.